You know, guys, I've scrolled through Instagram and I've seen a lot of top 10 sneakers of 2020. Like, I've seen the list, and there's one sneaker that just continues to be placed at number one, and I disagree with it wholeheartedly. Now, it's for a multitude of reasons, but it's nowhere near my top 10. And my top 10, it's pretty unconventional. But I think you're used to that on this channel, so let's go ahead and break down my top 10 sneaker releases of 2020. And just as a PSA, okay, remember, this is Talks with TJ. So it's TJ's list. It's not your list. So do not program your feelings into the GPS before you enter the video. Just watch the video and let's all live.
I surround my soul with the positivity. That's why I don't worry about the things that I don't see. Yeah. These days I don't worry about much. I think we should have some more fun. I still dream about the days when we were young. I'll take a hit and still finish and one.
What's up, everybody? It's your girl TJ back with another video, Talks with TJ, aka TJ Two Shoes Chains. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. When you're viewing this, I thought what better way to end the week than finally putting out my top 10 sneaker releases of 2020. I wasn't originally going to put this list out, but as I continued to see other lists put out, I realized just how unconventional my top 5 would be, let alone my top 10. And, you know, if you guys would enjoy it, I thought, okay, why not go ahead and put this out? So if you're brand new, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, certainly share this video if you think that it's shareable. I think it is. I think it is shareable because you guys will inquire about my opinion on kicks. And that's the thing, sneakers, it's subjective, okay? They're subjective. It's not based on anyone else's opinion. Someone else's opinion should not sway what you have ranked as your top sneaker of the year, and then maybe your top 5 and your top 10. I am just going to share with you my top 10. Now, I say it's unconventional because I don't look at it in terms of just hype. I don't look at it in terms of just one singular brand. For me, there's something about specific sneakers that may stand out to me as best this, as most captivating this. And so that's actually how my list is broken down, just to give you guys some insight. Now, I don't have in my possession all 10 of those sneakers, but no matter what, I'll make sure that there is a photo up here next to me of the sneaker itself. That way you have an idea of what I'm talking about for maybe the category that I designated for this sneaker for its ranking. So without further ado, let's dive into the top 10. Coming in at number 10, this was really difficult only because trying to decide which sneaker I wanted to place here for this, it had to be this pair. And I think it's just because it takes us back, and with everything that happened in 2020, what better way to celebrate Kobe than the release of the Kobe 6 Protro Green Apple? But I'll be real with you, I'm really thinking of it as the Kobe 6 Protro Grinch 2020. So this takes us back to 2010, Christmas Day, him rocking that pair. Now, it's really funny because this was meant to really pay homage to the actual snake, you know, snake skin in itself. But a lot of us just, you know, we nicknamed it the Grinch long ago. And for some people, this is maybe one of the more iconic Kobe sneakers they can name if they can't name any other ones. This is high on the wish list for a lot of people to end, you know, the year. 2020 has been trying more than ever, especially with the loss of Kobe and the loss of Gigi. It's been a trying year for not only sports fans, but those that looked up to him for everything that he emulated and he represented in terms of hard work and dedication, especially like for myself. So for me, it was only right that Kobe be placed on this list. And for me, it has to do with it paying, you know, the best or most homage to someone very iconic within sneakers. So number 10, the Kobe 6 Protro Green Apple. Coming in at number 9 with the title of Best Storytelling, the Reebok Question Mid Bubba Chuck. That's right, to me, hands down, this sneaker told the best story of any release. I mean, the details, the actual presentation of the sneaker in itself. Now, the regular box that it came with, okay, maybe it wasn't as, you know, big of an impact, but if you had the special box, you had a tackle box, you had an actual fishing license in there, fishing line, and then also you got the bucket hat. Now, if you're wondering why Bubba Chuck was actually the name of this sneaker, it goes back to Allen Iverson and his love for fishing, and that's actually something I didn't know. So again, it told a story to me that resonated. Now, if you need a full breakdown and review, please head over to Sneaker Fetish because he did such an amazing job of breaking down the great job Frank Cook did on this sneaker. And when you look at, again, the colors, I mean, it even goes back to the iridescent look of fishing line. So there's so much that's being told within this sneaker in itself. I was not able to get my hands on it, again, similar to number 10. I was not able to get my hands on it, but you all can certainly check out the Reebok Question Mid Bubba Chuck. If you're an Allen Iverson fan, I think this is a good shoe to go back for. If you're just a fan of amazing storytelling, I think it's also a shoe to go back for. So coming in at number 9, the Reebok Question Mid Bubba Chuck. Coming in at number 8, as for me, the set it off sneaker in terms of craze, it has to be the Nike SB Dunk Low Travis Scott. Now, this is also set it off sneaker. That's why I'm calling it that, because yeah, so we had a lot of other really special releases come out for Nike Dunk Lows and even some Nike SBs. But when I'm talking about like the shoe that even made me change my mind, I didn't originally like the Travis Scott SB Dunk Low. I didn't get the hype at first, but as I continued to see the sneaker time and time again, it actually grew on me. And I will say this, seeing Shoe Surgeon's rendition in a red colorway, it actually made me appreciate the Travis Scott SB Dunk Low that released even more. Now, we know resale was through the roof. You know, trying to get your hands on the sneaker just seemed insane, and it also came with a multitude of laces for you to swap out for this sneaker. But once this SB Dunk Low released, I think it just set off a trailblazing craze in terms of everybody, no matter who you were, you wanted to get your hands on a Nike SB Dunk Low for 2020, and everybody tried, and a lot of us took L's, but I think this definitely still deserves to be on a top 10 list. So coming in at my number 8, the Nike SB Dunk Low Travis Scott. Coming in at number 7 on my list, and this was really difficult for me to pinpoint, and I'm sure I will have a lot of people disagree with me, because you're probably going to say, hey, the Mocha 1 should be in this spot. But for me, sorry, coming in at number 7, the Air Jordan 1 High of the Year goes to the Biohack. Now, Jordan Brand typically gives us the same color blocking time and time again. They may change it up here or there, right? You had the North Carolina to Chicago, and then you also had the tie-dye women's one that came out, and those did really well, but they also got lost, I think, in the whole sea of Jordan 1s that released this year. And again, this may be very controversial. First, to have it so far down at number 7, but also for me to pick a Biohack. But I picked the Biohack because I'm actually proud of Jordan Brand for trying something different. You took a risk, you took a chance. A lot of people said, oh no, I don't want these. You know, minds changed very quickly once this shoe released. Now, once in hand, I get it. A lot of you had zero idea as to how to even style this sneaker, so I was really surprised and everyone went for it, but I get it. People are buying shoes these days just to be able to get their hands on anything with the difficulty of copying a sneaker, but I think this actually edges out the Mocha just a little better. I think the Mocha is really just going off the hype of the Travis Scott 1, and a lot of people are never going to get that sneaker. I'm just being honest. I think that's actually what it's riding the coattails of. So I think the Biohack told its own story in terms of the material, the color blocking. I love the fact that it's really tonal in terms of fall and winter, and that's different, but it still had that pop of color all on the tongue and the laces. So for me, coming in at number 7, the Air Jordan 1 Biohack as the Jordan 1 of the year. All right, coming in at number 6, and you know what? Out of all of these so far, I still don't have a single shoe in my hand. We can see how 2020 went for you, girl. But coming in at number 6, it's actually a pack, and it goes to the Air Max 1 City Pack for London and Amsterdam as the best quality sneaker or sneakers to release in 2020. Now, if you were unable to get your hands on either shoe, do yourself a favor like I plan to do and just go back, okay? Go back. And if you need an actual review for each sneaker, London and Amsterdam, you can check out CL Now 23. He has a great review and on foot of both of those sneakers, and he's the one that's still convincing me, TJ, you gotta get your hands on these. Now, the Air Max 1 is by far my favorite silhouette ever created, okay? Shouts out to you, Tinker. I really do appreciate it. I'm even rocking a chain that has an Air Max 1 on it. This sneaker, in terms of quality, I think people slept on it. Like, they don't understand. If you look at the materials that's on the London and then probably on the Amsterdam, I think the Amsterdam pair may edge it out a little bit, but I think that's because it plays around with texture and leather a little bit more than maybe the London pair does. Now again, they were paying homage to the actual cities of London and Amsterdam. They're both places I would really love to go visit, but first I should probably get my hands on these sneakers. An Air Max 1 is timeless. It should never be forgotten, and in terms of best quality, I think these went out. So my number 6 on the list, the Air Max 1 City Pack London to Amsterdam. Finally, I have sneakers in my hand for this one. So number 5 for me for 2020, best new silhouette or design on the market. That's right, the New Balance 327. And listen, this shoe had to make it on the list. I know this won't make it on most people's list, but that's just fine by me. I think when people look back, they'll understand just how special this sneaker was to release in 2020. But that's right, the New Balance 327. It paid homage to the old history of New Balance, but also it's very contemporary, it's very modern. I say that with the colorways that come out, like this one, which is Muslin and Moonbeam, but also the boldness of this shoe with the red, navy, and then it also has the gray on the interior, on the middle side of the shoe. Now, so many colorways released. They also had a few collabs come out, and I know you guys were really interested in those. I mean, heck, they even did one with Levi's. If you haven't picked this up, please do, okay? I love how unique the actual outer sole is, and then it even comes all the way up to that back heel tab there. So listen, pick yourself up a pair. I promise you it's one of the most comfortable, but it's also one of the more value you get in terms of a sneaker because it's not going to break the bank even if you have to pay resale. So coming in at number 5 for me, best new design, the New Balance 327. Coming in at number 4, listed as most nostalgic sneaker to release in 2020. That's right, it's already the 30-year anniversary of this sneaker. And what better way to celebrate than with the Air Max 90 Infrared, which I get it, they were calling it Radiant Red or even the Air Max 3, but we know it as the Air Max 90. It finally released again for the infrared colorway. It was a must-have for tons of sneakerheads all over. Even if you were just a casual sneaker enthusiast, you still wanted this shoe. For anybody that was unable to cop, listen, I'm terribly sorry, and make sure you check with your local stores. You might be able to just walk in and go get it because I know this actually came in finally at our local Kids Foot Locker, but this shoe, it just takes you back as a sneakerhead. It takes you back, and with the grade school pair, finally they didn't skimp on the materials. Now, the shape is always going to be a little bit off in terms of what it is with the men's pair, but, you know, I'll take what I can get from time to time, especially with the fact that they gave us suede, they gave us mesh, and you can never have enough of these. I don't care how many times they choose to release them, I'll probably still pick up a pair. So coming in at number 4 for best nostalgia or most nostalgic sneaker to release in 2020, the Air Max 90 Infrared. I'm sure a lot of people won't agree with this one either. You probably don't agree with a lot of my list. That's okay. It's my list. And coming in at number 3 for best retro to release in 2020, that's right, the Air Jordan 13 Flint. Now, if you don't like this sneaker, listen, I think it can change your mind. It changed my mind. I wasn't a big 13 fan. I really wasn't. I had always just passed and said, hey, sure, it looks okay. But I gave it a chance. And let me tell you, it was difficult picking pairs above this. But just in terms of the release, the way in which I was also able to get this shoe because it was during the shock drop of The Last Dance, very happy to do that. And I doubled up. This is the only sneaker that I actually doubled up on in 2020. Very happy to have this. You guys should know, in terms of most iconic 13s, I think this might win out for a lot of people. I get the cherry and the bread might knock it out of contention, but for me, it's actually one of my favorite sneakers that I have in my entire collection. Hopefully you were able to get your hands on this. So for me, in terms of best retro of 2020, has to go to the Air Jordan 13 Flint. So this should give you a little idea of what my second ranked sneaker will be for 2020. No, it has nothing to do with Ben & Jerry's milk and cookies. I just need you all to know this is the best flavor, hands down, okay? No, but it actually goes to the most hyped, most craze around a sneaker in 2020. That's right, for me, it's the Nike SB Dunk Low Ben & Jerry Chunky Dunky. Now, I know that some people will say, oh, how could you put that as number 2? and that's just all hype. That's the point. It was so hyped up. You had people tricking their friends and making them think that they actually had an authentic one, and if you saw their reaction, they wanted it. They were ready to pay big money, top dollar for that sneaker. Now again, this could have also won out for best storytelling, because if you look at the way Ben & Jerry's laid out the actual representation from the ice cream and the actual design of it to the sneaker itself, I wanted to get my hands on this. Absolutely, it was just not happening. But to me, the hype and the craze, it was deserved, because it was so out there. It was very, I'm not gonna say obnoxious, but it was really in your face. It wasn't something we're necessarily used to seeing on sneakers. Not to say design, you know, there haven't been collabs where they were really out of the box, but this was really out of the pint, I should say. And for me, it still stood out as one of the most fun releases of the year, and it was the most hyped and crazed. So to me, number 2 has to go to the Nike SB Dunk Low Ben & Jerry's Chunky Dunkies. Okay, if you're a little bit shocked that I still have not mentioned an Off-White, especially an Off-White 5, well, you're not gonna find an Off-White 5 on this list. You're not even gonna find an Air Jordan 1 Dior anywhere. You won't find them, okay? Neither of those sneakers moved me, and I certainly don't think 90% of the population in sneakers would pay the retail price for a Dior 1. It was a great, I don't want to say gimmick, but it was a cool novelty. That was about it. For me, hands down, the top best overall sneaker release of 2020 goes to Jordan and Virgil Abloh with the Air Jordan 4 Off-White sale, which was also a women's exclusive. Now, when you look at the total breakdown of this shoe, first off, they took one of the most historic Jordan silhouettes. They didn't take away from it. Instead, they added to it with leather so soft. You actually think it's suede. I mean, it can trick you into thinking it's suede. The details, they didn't over distress it, which I love about the shoe. They still have the exposed foam. The padding on the inside actually makes it a lot more comfortable than a normal Jordan 4. You can wear this all day and be extremely comfortable. Now, I still have my sale laces in here, but they even gave you lace options, which is really nice to be able to see. They kept with the off-white trend, but they weren't really like out there in terms of being the bright orange or the bright green. Instead, they were a little more toned down, but I decided to just stick with the pretty much more of the monotone look of the chrome pair. Now, it's a tonal sneaker that goes with so much. A lot of us will say, well, all white sneaker goes with everything. Well, an all sale sneaker goes with everything. And I find it funny that a lot of people started to tire of Jordan putting sale on a lot of Jordan 1s instead of white on the paneling. But when this came out, men and women alike lost their minds, to the point where there were men complaining they couldn't get their hands on this. There were men upset that women got exclusive access. And then there were women upset complaining that, well, are there really any women that hit on the exclusive access? Yes, there were. I was one of them. Very grateful, and I wear these, okay? My sneakers are worn. To me, I think this will go down as one of the best collaborations and best sneakers to ever drop, not only by Virgil, but also by Jordan in collaboration with a designer. So for me, no questions asked, the top sneaker release of 2020 goes to the Air Jordan 4 Off-White sale. That's my list. You guys can go ahead and let me know what you think about it in the comment section. As always, thanks for tuning in. Act your age, not your shoe size. Peace out.